So we're gonna go ahead and get started, guys. Josh, just stay on, and Tyler too. If you guys are texting me, if you guys we lose connection or something like that, just text me, guys, and we'll try to get through this. So guys, sorry about all the technical difficulties. We'll get through it, but I wanted to make sure now I really have to over deliver because you guys have been super patient here. So we're going to go ahead and get rolling. I'm going to talk today a little bit about how to build a motivated. It's cutting out a lot. Josh said, how to build a motivated seller lead factory. Josh, what do you want me to do? I don't want to be super annoying and be cutting in and out. I'm going to let you give the call there. Keep going, he says. Okay. And I know, just so you guys know, the people that are on Zoom can hear me great because it's my internet and their internet, but we're going to keep it rolling here, guys. So let's get started here. So a little bit about me. A lot of you guys already probably maybe know who I am, but if you don't, I'm just going to talk a little bit about who I am, and you guys can learn a little bit about what I've done. Some of my notable accomplishments. So I created all of Dean Graziosi's real estate education for about 8 years, between 2011 and 2018. If you bought any real estate education during those years from Dean, it was more than likely created by me. Dean just paid me a royalty because I was doing a lot of deals. He would just pay me a royalty on creating the real estate education for his students. Some other notable accomplishments. I trained Tony Robbins in 2014 on how to invest in single family homes. Tony was getting a lot of flack from his critics because he'd bring tens of thousands of people to events and get them all pumped up, get them excited, teach them some stuff, and then when they went home, they didn't have anything to apply it to. So Tony was tired of hearing that from his critics. So he wanted to learn single family home real estate investing. So he ended up Tony's been an advisor to 3 presidents. He could pick anybody, but he ended up picking me. And this is a picture of me and Tony in the Wynn Hotel. It is at his hotel room, the biggest hotel room I've ever seen. But I taught Tony Robbins for 3 days on how to do single family homes. It was pretty cool. Tony's a pretty sharp dude, man. Just so you guys know, I've done a lot of deals. I started in late 2005, and you can kind of see a little bit of a progression here. I've done a lot of deals. I continue to do deals. I've done over 4,000 real estate deals to date, and I'm not stopping there. Every year we try to push hard. We try to go further. We have big plans for this year, and it's looking like we're going to have another big year. So I don't ever want to be a real estate has-been. Some other cool stuff that we've done is, I did so many deals that, we decided to create our own mini Lowe's. So I have an 18,000 square foot warehouse we created our own, online store, our own barcoding system. We're buying materials at up to 80% below what you would buy those same materials at Home Depot or Lowe's. We're just really leveraging the fact that we buy a lot of volume, and manufacturers give us a discount for doing that. Here's some pictures, some other pictures of my warehouse here. We store about 40,000 items there. Our warehouse is fully digital. Contractors place orders from our website from the field. Project managers approve the orders right from an app on their phone. Our employees pick the order, put it on pallets, and the contractors back in, get loaded, and they're back up in minutes. No wasting time and monies in box stores. If you guys have ever been to a Home Depot or Lowe's in the morning, you go out, you run around the aisles, pick out your stuff. By the time you get up to the front registers, there's 15 registers and about one person working, and there's a line all the way back to the store. You could lose half an hour multiple times a week, just waiting in line. We didn't want to do that. Some other cool stuff that we've done is, I was spending so much money on my rehab projects, renting dumpsters, that I decided to buy my own dumpster truck and dumpsters. So we have 20 roll-off dumpsters. I was spending $20,000 a month, and now I've actually turned that into a profit center. Now I use my own dumpsters, and then when I'm not using them, I rent them to other investors in the area. So we make money off of it now. So I actually turned my trash removal process into a profit center. Some other cool stuff. We created a state-of-the-art key management system for all our houses. I've owned as many as 450 rental properties at one time, in my own portfolio. And there just isn't a key system out there that can really handle it. So we ended up building our own key management system. We created our own nomenclature. It's pretty cool. It's all run with Podio. You have to sign in and sign out. There's no address on any of those keychains that you saw hanging on the wall there. That's just a code. So you can't just walk into that room and grab a key for 123 Main Street. You'd have to go into the system, punch in the code for the house that you want. It sends a cryptic code to your cell phone and tells you where that key is. So we don't lose keys anymore. It's pretty cool. We also created the Jason Bourne of maintenance. I can see exactly where my maintenance techs are at all times. This allows us to complete work orders quicker. We can see if a call comes in and we have somebody right down the street from that house, and the items to fix that work order on their van. We know that from looking at what's in stock on their iPad and seeing where they're located, so we can get people to work orders really fast. We also created an in-house appliance repair center. The bad thing about appliances, they're one of the most expensive things you can do to a property. And, you get a 1-year warranty, and it seems like on day 366, something breaks, and that one thing breaks, and it costs, 75% of what the appliance costs to fix it. Well, when I found out, when I started my own warehouse and we started doing some of the repairs ourselves, that it's actually very, very inexpensive to repair appliances. So we put a gas dryer hookup for gas dryers and stoves. We put water for dishwashers, the 2 different types of plugs for stoves, and then a 110. We save about 75% of the cost for repairing appliances. So you guys are busy. You didn't have to be here today. I know everybody's, it's getting late. It's about 8:00 now. But since you guys decided to show up and learn and how to improve your bottom line, I have a free gift at the end for all of you guys that stayed. So stay tuned. This is something I typically sell. I'm going to give it to you guys away for free. So let's dive into why you're here today. You guys you're doing some marketing, but you aren't consistently bringing in 10 leads a day, or you aren't converting at least as many leads as you want to into contracts. So 2 things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to bring in 10 leads a day, 10 plus leads a day. And we're going to talk about how to convert those leads into contracts. So we'll keep rolling here. And sorry, guys, I'm kind of just recovering from a cold here, so I have to take some water. I got a little scratchy throat. I know many of you probably just went through all that too. But we'll keep going here. So there are many ways to do successful marketing to bring in leads, okay? But for the sake of time today, I'm only going to discuss my 2 favorite ways to bring in leads. Okay, not only these 2 ways, my personal favorite ways to do marketing, but they also produce the lowest cost per closed contract. Okay, that's important. All marketing works. It's just some marketing's a lot more expensive per closed contract than others. So the other thing I like about these 2 methods is it brings in leads immediately. There's no waiting. I don't know about you guys. I'm impatient. I want to do deals right now. I don't want to wait, send out marketing and wait for the phone to ring. I want to force the phone to ring. So my 2 favorite marketing methods are text message marketing and cold calling. So we're going to talk through each, a little bit of each today. So text message marketing is just super simple process, you guys. You buy a high quality list, then you skip trace that list, and then you contact that list. Okay, you contact it through the texting platform. Now, I want to say this something very important for you guys, and if I've said this before, and I want to make sure I say it again. It's very important. If you buy a cheap motivated seller list, okay, if you're buying cheap data, you will not get a good response. Okay, it's all in the list that you buy. Okay, you're throwing your money away if you buy a cheap list. Okay, simply just don't do it. Spend good money on the right data. Think about it. Think about all the money that you spend after you buy a bad list. Okay, so you buy the list, you think that you're doing yourself a favor by saving money on list and data. What do you do after you buy that list? Well, now you have to skip trace it. So if you spend money on skip tracing a bad list, you just wasted money on skip tracing. Then you have to run the texting platform. Okay, and that costs money. And then or you're calling. Okay, that costs one. I'm going to have to mute you guys. I'm getting some feedback here. Josh, can you guys mute your Zoom there? So anyway, so after you buy a cheap list, thinking you're saving money, you're actually costing yourself money because now you're spending money after the fact. You're spending money on skip tracing. Then you have the texting platform if you're calling. You have the CRM, that you have VAs that might be running it for you. So if you buy bad data, you lose 10 times the money you spend on that data. A cheap list will not save you money. It will cost you a fortune. Don't go cheap when you're buying your list. So once that list has been pulled, skip traced and loaded to the texting platform, you're now ready to contact the sellers. But you must be prepared on what to say, how to say it, and how to respond. When contacting sellers, input the address of the seller's property. You can map the field so this is done automatically. This is one thing that this keeps the messages from going into spam due to the change in the characters. Okay, you don't want to send the same repeated message over and over. You have to mix up the characters, and the perfect way to do that is to add the address. The messages should be normal, meaning you speak like you were speaking to a friend, right? Don't try to be super professional. Speak to this person like you're speaking to a friend. And then have common responses preloaded in your texting platform so a VA can click and respond quickly. Okay, you know what the common questions are going to be. You want to be able to turn around and respond quickly. So here's an example. Hey, first name. So you can just input the first name of the seller. Again, you can map all this so it's automatically inputted. It's Matt Larson. I was trying to reach you about your home at 123 Main Street. This is the type of message that will get a response. Okay, they're gonna want to know who's contacting them. You mention their address, them by first name, and who you are. You're going to get a good response. So let's talk about some do's and don'ts here. Don't use a list that you pulled over 60 days ago. Okay, you can't buy a list and have a list of 50,000 names and say you're good to go for the year. That's not how it works. Lists age, and as a list ages, it becomes less and less valuable. So I would not spend any money on, a list that I pulled 60 days ago. I'm wasting all the money on the backside. Again, you got to skip trace it. You got to run the texting platform or cold calling, whichever way you're going. You're spending all the money on the backside. So don't use an old list. Don't use a cheap skip trace service either. A lot of times I see people go into the cheapest skip tracing companies that they can and thinking they're saving money. They're not. You're not going to get a good match rate. You're not going to be contacting the seller from the right cell phone. So don't do it. Spend good money to get good data. Do scrub the list for DNC. You don't want to, anybody that does not want to be contacted, make sure you remove them from the list. Don't keep using a list once the responses die out. Okay, pull a new list. That's your cue to get a new list. As soon as you start seeing the response rates drop down to nothing, just get a new list. Don't use the exact same text messages as everyone else. Again, the cell carriers will eventually push your messages into spam if everybody's using the same message. And don't use the same cheap list everybody else uses. Okay, so don't send out over 1,000 texts per day. It's not needed. 1,000 texts per day with a brand new list should generate you between 10 and 30 new leads. Okay, if you're getting less than that, something's wrong. Okay. Assuming that you've done everything else I suggested. So if you buy a brand new list and it's a good quality list and use a good skip tracing company, you have a good texting platform and you're sending the right messages, you should be able to get 10 to 30 new leads per day. Okay. So if you're not, one quick thing that you can troubleshoot if you're not getting any responses is your phone number's marked as spam and they're not delivering any of the messages. So be on the lookout for that. Let's talk about cold calling. Let's talk about cold calling real quick. So again, the process is pretty simple. Buy a high quality list, skip trace the list, and then contact the list. Once that list has been pulled, skip trace, and loaded in the dialing platform, you're now ready to contact the sellers. Have your script ready to go, but you should really not be reading from a script. You should really be using the script as a guide. You don't want to sound like a robot. Also, this job should be done by a virtual assistant on your team. Unless you're willing to work for less than minimum wage, you can hire virtual. I mean, guys, minimum wage is going up in some parts of the country. It just went up to $15 an hour this month. You can hire a virtual assistant for $6 an hour. If you're willing to work for less than minimum wage, by all means, then do this. But I would guess that none of you are willing to work for minimum wage, so just don't do it. Cold calling is an art. Here's 5 musts in cold calling. By the way, you don't see in this top 5 script as being the top thing. Okay, everybody thinks cold calling is all about the script. The script doesn't even make my top 5 list. That's how unimportant it is compared to this other stuff. 1, you must have good English, right? If you're using a virtual assistant, make sure their English is good. Does their English have to be perfect? No, but they have to speak good English, and people have to understand what they're saying. Number 2, you must build rapport. Okay, people forget about this. They think this is a business transaction. It's not. It's people to people. All right, make sure you're building rapport, and that's not something you can script. Okay. Number 3, you must have good flow in conversation and know what to say. Right, you can't have awkward moments. Right, you want to make sure that you flow the conversation and let rapport do its thing. And when it's time to move on to something regarding the house or the seller, move in that direction. Number 4, be able to overcome objections. Seller's going to want to know, how you found their number, why you called them, how did you know about their house? Like, be prepared with these objections and how to overcome them so you're not caught off guard. That will help you convert more of these calls into leads. Now, good call quality is also a must. You can't have delays. If you ever got a phone call from a telemarketer and you answered and it was like 2 seconds later after you said hello, then they started talking, right away that's a telemarketer. You don't want to fall into that category. There's a lot of dialing platforms out there that do, and you want to make sure you avoid those. The other thing is you got to have good call quality. Meaning it's got to be crystal clear sound. You don't want static. You don't want echoes and delays. You want to make sure it sounds good. Special note: I'm just going to give you guys. I'll give you guys the lists, the marketing guidelines I recommend to everyone at the end of this presentation at no cost. I'm going to give you a big book that I use for all that. I typically charge for it, but just for being dedicated here and showing up today to learn, I just want you guys to come away with something. So, do's and don'ts of cold calling. Don't read from a script. Use your script as a guide. Role play and make sure you understand the script and it flows well. Okay. You don't want to have to sit there and read it. You should be able to memorize that and just put it in your own words. Don't keep calling if nobody's answering. Don't call the same number. Or don't keep calling all of the numbers. If you do cold calling all day long and you don't get a single person to answer, your calls are going to they're going to spam. That's what's happening. Call yourself from the dialer to check. So if you're just calling and calling and calling and nobody's picking up the phone, you're probably going to spam. So call from the dialer to your cell phone and see if it says spam likely as the caller ID that comes up. If it does, you need to get a new number, and then that problem will go away. Don't call the same seller more than twice a week. Do practice daily offline to improve your flow. Okay. The better you get at this flow and the more natural you sound, the more leads you're going to get. And the more confidence you're going to build. Do get a great headset and make sure you use a top quality dialer. You want to make sure that your sound is crystal clear there and you can hear them and they can hear you. Be sure to end the call with an amazing handoff to your acquisitions person. Okay, cold callers don't close. They're not designed to close. They're designed to call and get leads. Make sure you set up your acquisitions person for the next call. And then don't mix responsibilities between the cold caller and the acquisitions person. It actually hurts rapport building for the acquisitions person, which is, in my opinion, the more important step here. So let everybody do their own thing. Let's just talk about, so if you cold call for 8 hours, you'll generate between 3 and 7 leads per day. And I'm just giving this, to you guys where you should be hitting as a benchmark. There are days in my business where my cold callers generate over 20 leads in a day. We have this thing dialed in, but you should be able to hit 3 to 7 leads a day in and day out. Don't focus on the number of dials, focus on the number of conversations. I've seen a lot of people brag about, oh, my caller is dialing 1,000 dials per day. But then I ask them, the more important question is, how many leads do you get, right? It doesn't matter how many dials you do per day. In fact, your dials per day will be lower the more conversations you have. I'll have somebody that'll call me and say, Matt, tell me about your cold callers that you offer. And how many dials do they do? I know immediately I'm talking to an amateur. Okay, because they're asking me the wrong questions. There's times when my cold caller dials less than 400 or 500 dials in a day, but had 20 conversations that turned into leads. That's the more important thing. Count conversations, not dials. Once your marketing is working, then start focusing on the KPIs daily. Okay, have your VAs. They should be turning in an end of day report showing all their stats, and keep a close eye on that. Okay. It's important to pay attention to these end of day reports. It's one of my favorite things to look at. It's something I look at every day. In 15 seconds or less, I can read that report and know what's happening in my business. More leads equals more conversations. More conversations equals more offers equal more accepted offers equal more contracts is more closings, and ultimately the more closings equal more money. So I've had dozens of conversations with people saying they want to close 3 to 5 deals a month. Okay. And how many of you guys just set your goals for the year? Hopefully everybody. And so, I know there's people in the room right now that are far beyond 3 to 5 deals a month, but a lot of people will tell me as I'm talking to newer investors, hey man, I want to get to 3 to 5 deals a month. And I ask them about their daily leads, and they say they're bringing in 1 to 2 leads per day. I got a spoiler alert for you. 1 to 2 leads a day will not get you to 3 to 5 deals a month, not in wholesaling. Okay, you have to bring in more leads than that. This is a numbers game. So if you aren't planning on doing much marketing, then you won't have to worry about lead management because you won't have any leads to worry about. Okay, but if you are doing marketing, and pay attention, marketing is costing you money. If you want to do 3 to 5 deals a month, then you'll need you will need a great lead management system in place. We'll talk about that. Without a great lead management system in place, marketing dollars will be squandered. Let's talk through the flow of leads through your business here. So marketing goes out, leads come in. Those leads should come into a lead manager. Okay. Lead manager determines if the lead is a good lead or a bad lead. Okay, they can run quick comps and see what the seller owes. So pay attention to what I'm saying here. Lead marketing, when you do marketing and leads come in, those leads should not go to acquisitions. You have to get somebody, you have to have somebody step in front of that lead and determine if it's a good lead or a bad lead. So your acquisitions people aren't on the phone all day with leads that they shouldn't be talking to and missing hot leads that they need to jump on right away. So you guys, everybody has to determine what a bad lead is and a good lead is in your own business. Okay. In my business, now this won't necessarily be the same for you guys, but in my business, a lead that has no equity, that's a bad lead. A lead that's in a flood zone, I don't want those. I don't mess with those. Trailers, mobile homes, I just don't mess with a lot of mobile homes. Maybe some people buy some mobile home parks, but where I'm from and the areas that I buy in, mobile homes typically don't come with land, so we don't put a lot of time into those. The other thing is I don't want old, weird commercial buildings in residential areas where the commercial building's 120 years old and it doesn't have any value, so we don't mess with those. So you have to determine what a bad lead is and what is a good lead. Good leads are leads with lots of equity. Okay, we like equity. So next, the lead manager sends that lead to acquisitions. Okay, so acquisitions does call number one. Now I use a 2-call system. I started doing this just out of my own necessity. So I don't know how many people out there actually use a 2-call system, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you do switch to this system, you'll do more deals. So acquisitions call number one, there's a few things that they need to do on call number one. One, they need to build rapport with the seller. Very important, most important. Next, they need to find out why the seller's selling and find out all their pain points. Okay. And then lastly, they need to learn all about the property. Okay. They need to learn all about that house. So now notice on call number one, we don't make offers on call number one. Some people will try to tell you that, oh man, in this competitive market, you need to make an offer immediately. That's false. You need to get to the lead immediately, but you need to slow it down after that. Okay. You don't have to make an offer. You don't want to make an offer the first time on the phone. Then after the seller gives you the information about the house that you've built rapport, you've learned all this stuff about the seller. Now you want to take your acquisitions person wants to take all that information, transfer it back through the CRM to the lead manager. Okay. So now the lead manager determines a max offer price of that house. Okay. Now they're going to, at this point, so notice that I said the lead manager determines a max offer price. Okay. Acquisitions people should not be coming up with an offer price for the property. The lead manager should do that. You'll make a lot more money. 6 or 7 years ago, I changed from my acquisitions people coming up with their own offers, and my average cost per house went down. My average purchase price went down by $9,000 a house. Why? Well, because an acquisitions person, what's the chances that they'll offer more just to get the deal done to get a minimum commission? There's a lot of different reasons why there's too much of a conflict of interest for an acquisitions person to determine their own max offer price. So once that lead manager determines the max offer price, they need to, they're going to run full comps, and they're probably going to run both the ARV and cash wholesale price. Then they hand that max offer price back to acquisitions. Okay, so now acquisitions does call number two. Now, call number two is they're just negotiating the deal. Okay, so now call one was building rapport and learning about the property. Call two is to negotiate that deal. Once the offer is accepted and the contract signed, the lead manager must determine the price in order to wholesale the property, okay, for disposition. So lead manager hands off the property dispositions with the least allowable offer. Disposition then sends property to the buyer's list and negotiates the deal with the buyer. Okay, so lead manager manages the contracts with the title company in closing. Remember, a lead manager is the conduit between acquisitions and dispositions. So just kind of keep that in mind. Lead manager is the conduit between acquisitions and dispositions. If you have the acquisitions person doing lead management's role, doesn't end well. Okay, lead manager is what I call mission control, and they control every aspect of the business. In most businesses, the owner of the business is the lead manager. Okay, it should be the last position the owner steps out of. What if you want to step out of the day-to-day business? I know a lot of you guys probably watching right now do. Lead management is the last role to remove from your plate. Okay. Once you have a well-trained lead manager in place, you can remove yourself from the business. You will still keep a close eye on daily KPIs. You'll also keep an eye on pending contracts, both in acquisitions and dispositions. But the lead manager does the bulk of the work. Okay, this is how I've run my business for years. I am not the lead manager in my real estate wholesaling business. I work very few hours in that business. I do one meeting a week for half an hour, and I'm involved in a very small role because I'm not the lead manager in the business. I'm not acquisitions. I'm not dispositions, and I'm not marketing. This is how you step out of the business. So I promised you guys I would offer you a way for me to train your team if you do want to train a lead manager. Me and my team have closed thousands of deals. Let us train your lead managers and you as well. Okay, you must master lead management. Again, you guys, I see a lot of people. I see a lot of the gurus that people talk about acquisitions, and I see how to find deals, and that stuff's important, right? Virtual wholesaling, I see all that stuff, but what I don't see a lot of, and I know the magic, is lead management. So I wanted to give you guys a way to sharpen up your skills, or if you have a lead manager, if you want to step out of the business, this might be a way for you to allow me, my team, to teach your team how to be a lead manager and dial in this position. So this training is live with me and my team. And just so you guys know, my lead manager is Amanda Milne. She's been with me 9 years. Any of you guys that have bought any of my training in the past, you probably know Amanda. She's involved in all of it. And so this lead management training, 6 weeks to lead management mastery training, I have already gotten started. So we're on like week 4 tomorrow. We're meeting once a week. We're on week 4 tomorrow, but all the episodes or all the sessions are recorded. So even though if you decide to get involved in this, I won't be live with you, for the first 3 weeks, but those are all recorded. All the Q&As recorded, everything's recorded there. So these Zoom sessions allow for plenty of Q&A after each lesson. Most of these are between 60 and 90 minutes. We've gone a little over 2 hours, but I try to keep them short and sweet so you guys can learn from it and then go do. So here's what you'll learn in week 1: staff management and onboarding training, marketing channels and expectations, how and when to manage your marketing KPIs and accounting, daily metrics to pay attention to, when to order a new list, and then weekly operations to control expenses. Week 2 is screening leads, clearly define good leads, screening out bad leads, determine proper motivation, CRM management, quick valuations, and handing off good leads to acquisitions. Week 3, making offers, running wholesale comps quickly, running retail comps quickly, figuring max offer price for wholesale deals, which is a completely different formula, you guys. If you're wholesaling with the retail, with a fix and flip wholesale, if you're wholesaling, you're trying to wholesale with a retail flip offer formula, you're missing a lot of deals and you're missing out on a lot of money. Those are 2 totally separate formulas. So we go over that in week 3. Using a CRM to communicate and save time, negotiating tactics and low anchoring, setting automatic follow-up sequences, and counter offer negotiation. And in week 4, we talk about accepted offers, verbal offers versus written, verbal offers, conversion to written offers, electronic signatures and contracts, speed timing training, handling contract objections, finding photo professionals at a discounted price, and placing a lockbox, and scheduling pictures. and then pushing contracts through to CRM. Week 5, we're talking about tracking deals, pending deal spreadsheet, timeline management for inspections, timeline management for closing, how to get extensions when needed, disposition strategy creation, and CRM tracking and miscellaneous functionality. And then week 6, we'll talk dispositions, determining the least allowable offer, email templates to send your deals to buyers. Guys, we just email all of our deals. We disposition our deals with primarily through emails, not a lot of texting and talking to a bunch of different sellers and wasting time. Finding wholesale friendly title companies, finding hedge fund and institutional buyers, how to properly onboard buyers, verifying proof of funds before showing, scheduling showing and with the occupied properties. Same with vacant properties, virtual tactics to never leave your house. The big payday squeeze play, one of my favorites. Negotiating with tough buyers and how to handle last minute buyer objections. Okay, and then getting paid. So again, all these sessions are recorded, and you receive a recording as part of this training. This investment in this training, I typically sell this training, you guys, for $19.97. Again, it's with me. I'm doing all of the training, and I have Amanda come on too. But for Josh's people and all you guys, if you decide that you want some help with this lead management mastery, there's a 50% discount. And with Josh's discount, it's $9.97. With what you and your team will learn from this training, it pays for itself the next deal. Okay, this is a no-brainer. Nobody's talking about this stuff. It's one of the most important things. It's mission control to your business. So this training can be the pivot point that radically changed the direction of your business. I've seen it time and time again. I work with a lot of students all over the country, and I'm an investor first and an educator second. And I see where everybody's making their mistakes. So if you're trying to get out of the day-to-day business, this is what you need. So once you have the recordings, you can retrain any new members of your team that you add in the future. So if you currently are the lead manager and you want to learn from this training, great. But if you want to get out of that position and you want to bring somebody else into your company to become the lead manager, simply use this training to teach them how to do the lead management so you can step away. So we've got you covered. I'm going to throw in some bonuses too for you guys. I have a dispositions digest. I sell at $97, super detailed, all step-by-step, how to basically sell more houses and for faster timelines and higher prices right now. It's very important. The other thing is I'm including how to find hedge fund buyers and big institutional buyers in your current markets. I just got off a phone call on Friday with a big institutional buyer who wants 20 houses a month, pays almost full retail price. Guys, you get a few of these kind of buyers on your list, and you can really ramp up your profitability. The other thing is I'm throwing in my Virtually Unemployed 2.0 course. I sell this every day at $1,997. It's not inflated price. 92 lessons, 70 plus videos. It's all my systems and all my processes I use in my business to train all my own VAs. You guys can step into that too. So if you want to scale the business, let me help you. Bring your team onto these live Zoom training sessions and let them ask questions as well. So if you want to get free from the day-to-day, I think Josh has an order form, and I'm also going to go to Q&A, you guys, to talk through everything that we learned today in case you guys want to ask me some questions. So I think if you guys are on the Zoom, Josh, you're going to drop the link into the Zoom. Maybe you already did that. One other thing too, and guys, we have plenty of time for Q&A. One other thing that I want to make sure you guys do is if you want, I told you guys I was going to give you a gift just for showing up. Guys, I have a almost 400-page marketing book. Okay, it's got everything in it, all step by step. I typically sell that book. I'm going to give it to everybody that just wants it. You'll learn a ton of information about texting and cold calling and what to say, and all the stuff that's in between, how to do the marketing, how to break it out, how it all breaks down, when to do, what to do, everything. 370 pages. If you send an email at support@realestatemat.com and in the subject line put Josh webinar gift, we'll get that sent out to you at no cost, you guys. I just want to make sure that you guys leave here with something that you can again use to grow your business. But I want to go ahead. I'm going to try to. I think if you guys, if you're in the Zoom, you probably have a link to the into the order link that Josh just put up. But I also want to go ahead and Josh, I don't know if you can help me here. I want to go ahead and do some Q&A for everybody. So I don't know if they need to come up, if there's a mic where you're at, or something along those lines for any Q&A that people have. If you have a question and you're on the Zoom, you guys can ask it in the chat. I think I'm gonna stop the. Did you guys? I want to do one more thing. I just want to make sure you guys got. If you guys got this, just make sure you write this down. If you want to get that, my marketing book, my 370 page marketing, just make sure you write this down real quick. support@realestatemat.com and just put the subject line Josh webinar gift. So I'm going to stop share on my screen and try to get back to you guys. Let's see here. Okay. You guys have any questions for me? Anybody on the Zoom? Anybody that's in, did we lose everybody that's in the, we lose everybody that was at the actual event? I'm not seeing you guys. You guys there? Can you Zoom guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we're going to still hear you.
Phil, you guys can still hear me good?
Yeah.
Did I lose the people that were in the event?
Yeah, it looked like they got drop off.
Did they? Okay. I don't know if they're still there. Any of you guys have any questions on anything I just talked through? I know I went really fast because I was worried that we were going to have some trouble there. So, oh wait, was there a question? Hang on. Looks like there might be a question here. Can you explain? Oh, Jonathan, can you explain what skip tracing is? Jonathan, all skip tracing is, if you want to contact somebody through texting or cold calling, you want to get a hold of their cell phone or their phone number. And in order to do that, once you pull a list of, motivated seller list. And again, if you get my marketing book, Jonathan, that book that we just said you can get for free by sending us an email, that book shows you how to do all this stuff too, by the way. But in that book, or skip tracing is basically, it finds their phone number so that you can call or text them. That's where all skip tracing is. Because a lot of times you can buy a list of a, motivated seller list, like a non-owner occupied absentee owner list, or a vacant list or something like that. And you have their name, you know what the address was, where they live and where the property was, but you don't have their cell phone. So you got to run it through skip tracing in order to get their cell phone number. Good question. Good question. Anybody else? Anybody? You guys are quiet. Tyler, can you can still hear me, right? Tyler, you hear me? I think he's still on. So are all you guys from the Lincoln area, or some of you guys outside of Lincoln area? I see Aaron. Aaron, I know Aaron. No, he's from that area, but
we're personally from the Lincoln area.
Everybody is.
I don't know about everyone, but quite a few names are familiar.
But we are.
Cool. Any other questions? Good. What market are you markets for me? My markets right now, I'm in Illinois, Iowa, and Michigan. I'm in a few different cities in each state. and we're just kind of breaking back into Michigan again. I used to do a lot of deals in Michigan, and left for a while. Now we're coming back, so it's kind of where I'm at.
You guys do like short-term rentals or Airbnb, or is most of your portfolio like typical or traditional rentals?
Yeah, most of mine are traditional rental properties, although I do love the Airbnb model. When the market crashes, who knows when that'll be for sure, but when the market crashes, and I'm selling off a lot of my portfolio right now, and have been for the last 2 or 3 years. It takes a little while to move that many houses, but when I sell everything off and then the market crashes and I buy everything back, I'll probably do more Airbnbs. I love the cash flow, and I like all the stability of it as well.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I've just done traditional rentals for a long time, and it has its challenges, as you guys might know. Let's see here. No Q&A. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're good. I know it's getting late for you guys. I know it's getting late for me. I got up at 3:30 in the morning. So I appreciate all you guys taking a few minutes to let me share some stuff. Make sure you get that book that we offered, so you guys can jump in on that. I'm going to give Josh, I'm going to hand back the host back to you. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that.